In the 6th episode of Presumed Innocent, as the trial goes on, more information about the murder becomes available before the program concludes on a major cliffhanger. Following the start of the main trial in Episode 5, Presumed Innocent Episode 6 takes unexpected turns and uncovers a number of previously undiscovered, hidden dimensions of the case. In addition to providing fresh insight into Rusty's relationship with Carolyn, the appearance of presumed innocent characters like Kumagai, Michael, Eugenia, and others in court to testify exposes all the prejudices held by all the parties involved in the case. Presumed Innocent Episode 6 takes place inside the courtroom, in contrast to the previous episodes, which mostly take place within the Sabich household. To Molto's dismay, Raymond provides strong arguments against every piece of circumstantial evidence he brings up, but just as it appears that Raymond is making headway, the episode closes with a startling tragedy. Kumagai reveals the details surrounding Carolyn's murder in court. Molto calls Kumagai to testify in court as scheduled, revealing the serious circumstances of the crime. Molto anticipated that Kumagai would discuss the graphic details of the crime at first. In the event that Rusty is found not guilty, the jury is encouraged to find him not innocent by his account of the crime scene, which presents a horrible picture of the circumstances surrounding Carolyn's death. To the surprise of Molto and Guardia, though, Kumagai's evidence does not proceed as expected when Raymond intervenes to ask him about his personal feelings for Rusty and his prejudices in the case. Kumagai's testimony eventually benefits the defendants. Raymond's questions make Kumagai lose his cool. Kumagai initially acts coolly when Raymond questions him about his relationship with Rusty, stating that forensic experts like him and prosecutors frequently have contentious interactions. But he breaks down and shows that he is predisposed toward detesting Rusty when Raymond presses him, asking if he dislikes Molto as much as he hates Rusty. Consequently, Molto's strategy of persuading the jurors that Rusty might be the murderer fails based on Kumagai's testimony. Later on, Guardia even confronts Molto for having put his trust in Kumagai. But Molto doesn't back down, saying that taking Kumagai to court was just the beginning of his strategy. Guardia concerns about Molto's intentions and wonders if he realizes what he is doing, as indicated by Raymond encourages Rusty and Barbara to improve their body language. Raymond talks with Rusty and Barbara following the first day of the trial, asking them to exhibit more positive body language in the courtroom. In an effort to persuade the jury that he loves his wife and is not the murderer, he urges Rusty to protect Barbara from the media when they approach her outside the courtroom. Barbara, on the other hand, is against this strategy and thinks that making their connection appear phony to the public could really exacerbate the situation. She reassures Raymond that rather than putting up a front that most people won't fall for, she needs to be her true, real self. A forensic pathologist discloses the level of detailing in Carolyn's murder. The pathologist confirms the reason behind the discovery of Rusty's skin cells under Carolyn's nails. Molto summons a forensic pathologist for testimony after Kumagai in the hopes that he may undo the harm that Kumagai inflicted. The pathologist reports that although Rusty's DNA was detected on several areas of Carolyn's body, neither fingerprints nor DNA was detected on the ropes that were used to bind her up. He confirms that the killer was quite methodical in their approach by saying that excess is unusual for violent crime scenes. In response to the forensic pathologist's testimony, Raymond questions him about the possibility that Rusty's DNA got onto Carolyn's body during their kiss. It is acknowledged by the forensic pathologist as a potential scenario. Raymond goes so far as to scratch his own face and inquires of the pathologist whether any of his own skin cells had made their way under his nails. Once more, the pathologist concurs, proving that the discovery of Rusty's skin cells under Carolyn's nails does not indicate he killed her. Without hard evidence, Raymond refrains from going further into Reynolds' possible involvement in the murder. The judge requests that Raymond present tangible proof of Reynolds' involvement in the murder. Raymond has been trying to make connections in court between Reynolds and Carolyn's murder since Rusty persuaded him to do so in Presumed Innocent's 5th episode. Nevertheless, the court does not appear to be persuaded by Raymond's strategy and requests that he get substantial proof of Reynolds' involvement rather than making conjectures. In light of this, Raymond is compelled to reconsider involving Reynolds, even though Carolyn's murder and Bonnie Davis's murder are identical. Eugenia agrees to testify in Episode 6 of Presumed Innocent, despite the fact that Molto's interview with her in Episode 5 does not go well. Eugenia describes how Carolyn even urged Rusty to exercise caution as his conduct toward her grew more and more obsessive. In order to refute this, Raymond first shows that Eugenia had personal prejudices towards the case and that she never truly liked Carolyn. Raymond then inquires as to whether Carolyn has ever complained to their company's HR about Rusty. Eugenia says no in response. She turns the tables on Molto by revealing that Carolyn had complained about him to HR. Raymond goes one step further and inquires of Eugenia whether Carolyn has ever made a complaint about anyone. At this point, she turns the tables on Molto by disclosing that Carolyn had complained about him to HR. In an effort to defend himself, Molto queries Eugenia about any past issues they may have had while working together. Eugenia replies that she never voiced the same grievances as Carolyn.